Why, hello there. That meme is dead, let's be honest. That meme is 100% dead. But welcome to Season 2, or First Era, because the server is officially no longer called Crack Palace SMP. The server is actually now called LoreWorks. And the world has a name, and there's lots of different kingdoms, and there's lots going on. In fact, if I just bring up the player list for the server at the moment, boom, look at that. We have many boys, and as you can see, Laputria leading the way. We have a fair amount of people now in the world, which is amazing. And yeah, Laputria is massive, and I'll just pop up a really badly drawn map of Laputria. There we go. Amazing. And believe it or not, yes, I can actually name every single one of my sub-provinces. But, as I say, we are now in the First Era, or Season 2, which means that big things are about to happen. Because if you remember what happened at the end of last season, and if you don't, go and watch it now, right now, me and Mr. David Dustin, the King of Thornor himself, did find some rather interesting little relics, which is going to lead to the things that are going to happen today. Because there's going to be a monumentous occasion about to happen. We are about to elect a High King of the Riverlands. Now, what that will entail, I don't know, because there's a little bit of a surprise, and we're kind of going with it on the fly. We're going to see what happens. But Laputria is out in force. I've got some bodyguards coming with me to make sure that things, well, that nobody gets any funny ideas. But we're going to go have a look. We're going to find out what's going on. And, well, vote for me, I guess, I hope.
Everyone, announcing the Keeper of the Crimson Crown, Builder of Roads, Steward of the Throne of Devonia, Knight Captain of the Withered Rose, our Emperor, Arabis, Ignis of Laputria.
Yeah, today we're gathered here for the High King election, something that has been long overdue, but finally we're here. We have two candidates, Arabis and myself. I know that all of you had the chance to discuss it with your kingdoms about who you're going to vote for and like what you're set on voting. The kingdoms that are going to be voting, their flags can be seen around the king's table. So we've got Etheria, represented by Fluffy Sapphire. We've got Uzakon, represented by Thunder. We've got Kitrov, represented by Just a Ginge. We've got Far Harbor, represented by... Wait, why are there two flags of Kitrov?
Compensating.
They're just that awesome.
Did I? No, never mind. Okay, whatever, fine. Far Harbor, represented by Godfather. Gantrick, represented by Shade. And that's 5, right? That is 5. And then my flag and Arabis' flag as well. So, to begin this ceremony, I know you guys are all set on whoever you're going to vote for already, but I would like to give a chance for both Arabis and myself to give our speeches so that perhaps we can change your mind in the last minute. So Arabis, I'd like to give the floor to you and proceed with your speech.
Okay, very well. My lords and ladies of the Riverlands, we have been brought here today to elect a King of Kings, a High King, a king above you all. And it is only by the good word of Gamagan that we have been brought here today. You have the choice between myself, King Arabis of Laputria, or King David of Thornor. For if it had not been for the divine intervention of Gamagan, this election may never have been called. David will likely ask for your vote today because he believes a leader must be strong and able to defend his people. A noble stand indeed, but his martial prowess cannot be called into question on this day, surely, for he is a hero of Gantrick Field, as well as many other accomplishments. However, I will leave what he will stand for to him to say. I stand here because I see the strength of each kingdom in their independence. I see far more good can come from the light of your people as free states. I understand that each of you are different and have your differences, but it is where your power truly lies, in the beautiful uniqueness of each of you. So, and if elected, I would remain High King only for so long as the concerns of each kingdom have been addressed, and once done so, I will abdicate the throne. It shall be by the will of your votes that I shall do this, and I will step down as king, and the crown shall be placed in the care of the Knights of the Withered Rose until such a time that all the Riverlands are in true need of a High King that is not chosen by lords and ladies, but by all people. And that is my stance.
What's up?
Good speech. That was a good speech.
Alright. Great speech from Arabis over there. Love the fact that he prepared for it, but just like he prepared for his speech, I have prepared for mine. So, mine can be a little bit longer, so bear with me, please. Alright, so... with that being said, I am Sir Davis, the ruler of the Kingdom of Thoranor. While many of the leaders of their kingdoms here consider themselves kings and queens of your own nations and kingdoms, I cannot call myself a king. Because in order to be a true king, you have to be chosen by either a higher power or by the people. Arabis and I were both chosen by a higher power, Gamagan, to be exact. However, two people cannot rule the same land, as there will always be division, and division, it's not strength, it's weakness, at least in my eyes. I believe in true unity, and that's why we are all gathered here today, to unite each other under one king. To point out and resolve any confusion around my own campaign, I don't plan to control and reign over all kingdoms. If I am elected as High King, I will simply be the one making the final decisions and having the final say. You will all be regarded as lords and ladies of your own lands, free to keep your own banners. If I get elected, I will simply be a figurehead for intercontinental relations, as well as a peacekeeper of the Riverlands. While many of you, I know from all the talks that you guys have been having, you're all assuming that I'm doing this for clout and control over everything and everyone. My reasoning for becoming a High King is simply to be able to further help the people and resolve any disputes in an orderly manner. That is all. Speaking of my opposition though, while Arabis is a great leader for Laputria, he is only a great leader for Laputria, because that is his prime goal, the Laputrian Empire. He only cares about furthering his own nation, and he does not care for the rest of the Riverlands, and that's why he says independence for all, as he won't be taking care of the rest of the Riverlands. And just like he said in his speech, he's totally fine with relinquishing his throne and giving it away for when a High King is required. That is not what a true leader must do. He is very ambitious though, which is a great thing, but it's not always a great thing for a king. As a king, you need to be compassionate and understanding. And I'm not saying Arabis isn't. He gets people into Laputria with promises of free armor and tools, as well as free land to build on, as long as they remain Laputrian. By doing this, he is taking over vacant lands without even really doing anything on his own. However, whenever somebody wants to leave Laputria, it's a whole ordeal. And good luck trying to get out. Mashwe over here can vouch for that, as they had quite their own experience with this. Prime example of it. Additionally, you can clearly see how Arabis does not care about the people of the Riverlands and only cares for Laputria by trying to move the main trade district away from the Commercium and into Dunwall, the capital of Laputria, closing down his own stores entirely and opening competing businesses such as the Enchanted Books business along with outsiders from other lands, which would be Sumerian, to undercut our fellow traders from the Riverlands, ruining their businesses that were operating from way before Arabis even arrived to these lands. Just, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that does not sit well with me. Anyway, unlike Arabis, I never tried to expand my kingdom or looked to grow my nation going into other lands, even when the opportunity presented itself. For example, this is very evident with Gantric Kingdom, Shade's kingdom right now. Once it became vacant, Arabis himself told me to take over Gantric and have it be part of Thorinor, but I never did it. Instead, I was holding it off for someone else to come and make something great out of it, giving people more opportunity to have their own nation. I offered this kingdom to Shade for free, allowing people to have the liberty of their own lands to do whatever they please. I have alliances with many kingdoms, both inside and outside the Riverlands, such as Mashwe over here, Northmark, which sadly could not come here, Etheria, and Far Harbor. I have proven myself to be quite adept at PvP, capable of defending the Riverlands from any threat. And not only that, but I also have a secret weapon, a relic that was given to me by the Lord Gamagan himself that is capable of killing any living being in a few hits. Thanks to this, if a time ever comes where we need to go into battle, and that's something I'm very against, and I always believe that there are other ways to resolve conflict, but if worst comes to worst, I will always lead my people into battle if needed. And as proof of my status, I was given the honor of being called the chapter master of the Knights of the Withered Rose, thanks to both my superiority in battle being above all other knights, as well as my good deeds being an honorable knight. Being one of the very first settlers of the Riverlands, I enforced this rule that the Heartlands, where we are situated right now, will be the center of trade because it's an autonomous area, and regardless of what conflict is caused, it shall always remain autonomous and will never be affected by that conflict, effectively protecting everyone's shops and businesses. In the meantime, Arabis is trying to sabotage this by moving all shops to Dunwall, where they are fully exposed to theft, looters, and damages simply because he does not want to walk all the way to the Commercium and refuses to make a nether portal that connects to the nether hub. Worse than that, Laputrians have been spreading anti-Thorinor propaganda, trying to sabotage my electoral campaign, spreading rumors to other nations telling them to vote against me, to a point where Arabis himself had to step in and say to stop that, while in the meantime continuing these memes of anti-Thorinor propaganda in their own Laputrian chats. I never did such a thing. Instead, I went to all other kingdoms and told them to keep an open mind and make your own decisions. The people of Laputria were even responsible with a few instances of conflict in Dreval, for example the shitstorm that happened between Aquos and Laputria over the Mushroom Island, as well as the TNT trapping of Uzacon's leader base. While I know I'm not perfect myself, well, we can cue in the time where I lost my horses because Uzakon did not want to sleep, and I went over there and started murdering them. In my defense, that was only because Thunder started making fun of me for dying and losing all my horses and telling me to get better at the game, while I came there with peace offerings trying to resolve the issue peacefully. Even though I did all of that, right after it, I helped both Turtle and Thunder get their gear back, cleaned all the TNT traps set by Laputria and Kitrif at Thunder's base too. Well, I didn't want to steal your horse, I wanted to borrow it so that I can breed more. Plus, I gave it back to you anyway. I am not a dictator, like as Laputria propaganda paints me to be. I am not an evil warmonger either. My main goal is peace within the Riverlands. I want the Riverlands to be the best place to be in all of Dreval, and I will do everything in my power to ensure that, and ensure the safety of every person in the Riverlands, just like I was doing it all from the very beginning, and more.
One vote for Davey.
One vote for Davey.
Two votes for Davey. That's 3 votes for Davey.
That
That would also already
One
be
vote
winning.
For, 1 vote for Arabis.
And who's the last?
And 1 vote for Davey.
wow.
So four
so
versus
that
1.
All right.
So yeah,
4
it's
votes for
4v1.
Davey, Dustin, and 1 vote for Arabis Ingus.
These
Wait,
guys-
We're not gonna tell.
Jester, you're throwing it at... Mushway is collecting it too, because you're throwing it at all of us.
What's he
Fucking...
throwing?
Yes, thank you.
What's he throwing?
He's throwing, like, prizes for, like, the High King, or whatever. Now that this is concluded, can I have the books for record keeping, or we can give it to Arabis for the museum, or something like
I put the
that?
books back in the chest.
Oh, you put the book back.
Both-
Okay, fine.
both
That's
out,
fine. That's
yeah.
fine. Arabis, how should we handle it? Do you want to keep the books to put them in the museum, or should I keep them?
Keep hold of them for the moment.
Okay. Now that this is settled, and I am the High King, there are a few things that I have to discuss with certain people. Let's begin with Arabis. I want that crown. I want that crown.
Want that crap? Come on. Get it over. That's a good shot right there.
I hand over these crowns willingly, but I will not submit before them. And nor shall any kingdom that wants liberty.
And finally, after months of hostilities, treachery, and new alliances, it was decided Davey Dustin of Thornall would be the High King of the Riverlands. All past feuds were put aside after that day, and the lords and ladies of the Riverlands debated long into the night. And King Davey Dustin listened. Perhaps he was not the tyrant that some thought him to be. Perhaps we had been wrong. For now the world was at peace once more, and all those that had worried could sleep easy again.
And ladies and gentlemen, there we go. There we have it. That is officially the end of the High King stuff. And Davey Dustin is officially the High King of the Riverlands. And I am not. Which, to be honest, I don't know. I'm okay with. I'm happy with. And, yeah, a lot of people were concerned, but it's all good. Everything is good. Everybody is happy. And, we are now Season 2. Well, Era 1. Well, we've had this conversation already. But look forward to more videos coming up in the near future. They are not going to be quite as regular as they used to be. Mainly because there's a lot of life going on at the moment in my life. But I will try and get them out as often as humanly possible. And I look forward to bringing you more from not just the Riverlands, but all of the lands. And especially the Laputrian Empire, as it is now known. But if you like this episode, let me know. Put it down in the comments. Leave me a comment. Do a like, do a share, do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, keep watching. I'll see you next time.